Welcome into the live desk. I am Janae Hancock on this Thursday morning. I am holding down the fort. Taylor Johnson is on vacation, taking much needed time off. So we have everything. I have everything that you need to know as far as several breaking news stories, especially overnight. And then also we are following your weather forecast. Meteorologist Melissa Meeder will bring you the latest here in a bit because it is a first warn weather day. But first, I do want to start off with some breaking news regarding the Kansas City streetcar. Mayor Quentin Lucas just posted this video on the social media platform X, and I want you all to take a listen in.
Since 2016, more than 15 million people have hopped on the Kansas City streetcar. We're picking up the cones and excited for the next transformative phase for Kansas City and the streetcar with the extension to UMKC. Mark your calendars for October 24th, 2025. We'll meet you all here. Thanks, Kansas City. Let's ride.
So there you have it. Again, that video coming in from Mayor Quentin Lucas just moments ago. Celebrate with us. Main Street Extension grand opening set for October 24th of this year. Again, that is just huge excitement there as we look ahead to the World Cup, especially coming next summer around this time in 2026. Mayor Quentin Lucas just posting that not too long ago. Now, we will follow this story throughout the day today. KCTV5's Ryan Hennessy will be on top of that. I know he has some interviews lined up, so we will continue our coverage on the Kansas City streetcar, that major announcement just moments ago. I want you to take a look at your screen right now. You can see this video. The Chiefs are finishing their third day of training camp practice as we speak. The team is set to hold a press conference in just a few, but first, KCTV5 Sports Director Marlia Campbell has the top storylines from yesterday's practice.
2 of Chiefs training camp is officially in the books. Let's run through our top storylines in St. Joe in today's 2-minute drill.
Anybody at any given time can go deep.
There's your play of the day. Patrick Mahomes launches downfield to Tyquan Thornton, who makes the impressive catch during 7-on-7 drills. You'll be seeing more of this. The Chiefs say they're emphasizing the deep ball at this year's camp. Last season, Kansas City ranked second to last in the league in pass completions longer than 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage with 12.
Well, I don't like them when they happen. However, because look at, you can't touch the quarterback, so it's a longer down. But hopefully it makes us better in eliminating those, because those will kill you in the game. I can remember 1 or 2 there today. But listen, the offenses will make us better by doing that.
These days are long, they're hot, the guys are staying in the dorms, and Andy Reid is known to run one of the toughest camps in the NFL. But defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is reminding his guys to stay grateful these next few weeks.
I just felt compelled to tell them, don't ever take this for granted. Like, it gets hard out here and all that. And I told them, look, at my age, I'm happy to be in the first meeting at training camp, have a job, be healthy enough to do it, right?
You never know how many more of these training camps you got, man. As players, naturally, we want this to last forever, but physically, the body takes a toll. You definitely got to cherish these moments.
And lastly, after missing a bulk of last season to a fractured fibula, then injuring his ribs against the Steelers, Isaiah Pacheco says he's healthy and ready to roll.
I'm feeling really good, having fun with the guys, excited to be back out here in this environment. It's a beautiful setting. Just finding ways to get better, and most importantly, building off of last year.
In St. Joe, Marlia Campbell, KCTV5 Sports.
Just love hearing from the players. Again, we are expecting a press conference from St. Joe, and we're really just waiting for them to pop their shot up. And as soon as they do, we will take it live so you can hear from Andy Reid, Creed Humphrey, and Kareem Hunt. Arnell Jones and I believe Marlia Campbell, they are both out in St. Joe today, continuing our coverage throughout as we finish the first full week of training camp. So as soon, again, as we see the players and Andy Reid take to the podium, we will be sure to bring you you that live. I also want to direct you to our website, kctv5.com. Also on the KCTV5 News app, we do have a live blog going on. So it is posted on our homepage currently. You can see this photo coming in from Marlia, actually. She just posted some photos on the social media platform X, and then we have some photos of fans and everything else. So new updates will always be posted right here on our KCTV5 website, as well as the KCTV5 News app. So you want to make sure you have both. We'll check back in. And also we have this going on. You can upload your photos if you are a Kansas City Chiefs super fan. All you have to do is just come right to our homepage, click on that story, and then you're going to hit add media. You can add your photos and videos. So that's what we have as far as Chiefs. Again, waiting for that press conference to get underway. But first, we do want to prepare you for another first warn weather day. Flash flooding is a real possibility today that we need you and your family to be on guard for. So here is First Warn 5 meteorologist Melissa Meeder.
Hi everyone, First Warn 5 meteorologist Melissa Meeder here on our Thursday. We have a First Warn weather day in place today. That is for the potential to see some areas of heavy rainfall, flash flooding potential as well. So we're going to walk through what we can expect here over about the next 36 hours or so, plus how rain and thunderstorm activity, clouds are going to play into our temperatures for today. So we are going to start off with kind of a breakdown of that rain, the thunderstorm activity right away. So we have that right out the bat, and then we'll talk a little bit about our temperatures. So for today, as we are tracking our potential for some flooding, flood risk, for this morning, the rest of this morning, I think we see some spotty rain. There's pockets of heavy rainfall in that. However, our chance to see heavy rainfall and that flooding concern, that is more likely going to be for the afternoon and then into Friday morning. So First Warn weather day is in place as we go into this afternoon. That's when we start to see the stalled boundary. A stalled boundary is going to be the contributing factor for these storms, these showers, rainfall to bubble up. There is a little bit of some unknown information. We're going to talk a little bit about that in just a second, but Thursday into Friday morning poses the potential for heavy rainfall. The Friday morning commute may be hazardous due to ongoing rainfall, as well as if there were some localized areas of flooding, there could still be ponding water on the roads, that sort of thing. So really, over the next 24 or even 36-hour time frame, we've got the chance for heavy rain and thunderstorm activity. So I mentioned what's one thing that we're not confident in at this point, and that is where the heaviest pockets of rain are going to set up. That is going to be due to that boundary that's eventually going to stall somewhere in our area. Now, indications to us say probably somewhere along the I-70 corridor, and therefore we could see that heavy rain starting to develop along I-70, the metro included, and points north. Now, the heaviest amount of rain, this is going to be kind of a widespread rain system. So within that is going to be pockets of much heavier rainfall, and those will be scattered throughout some areas and therefore dropping the heaviest amount of rainfall. So how much rain could we see from this system? Well, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches look to be possible. Those isolated areas that I had told you about, as you can see, you can start to pick out some areas of some darker reds up towards near, Olathe along the I-70 corridor, as well as out towards Cameron in our northern areas. That could be smaller areas, localized areas that see 3 to 7 inches of rainfall. That is going to be a possibility. So please be careful. Please be mindful. Have your guard up as we go through this afternoon all the way into tomorrow morning. You're going to hear this several times from us today. If you see water, if you see standing water, flooded roadways, flooded walkways, turn around and go to higher ground and walk away or drive away from that situation. So please be very careful today and have your guard up and stay connected with us here over the next 36-hour time frame. Let's break down what we're seeing over the course of the next couple of hours here. What to expect. We're going to track out our forecast radar. Once we go into, the next couple of hours, spotty activity is going to be possible between about now and by the time we get to about 1 o'clock. Now, this is spotty rain. Pockets of it may be heavy. However, we're not really expecting the higher potential for flooding in the morning, this morning, as we're seeing for this afternoon. Now, on top of the heavy rainfall this afternoon, we could see the potential for some of these storms to become strong and maybe produce some damaging winds. Now, I will say we've got the level 1 out of 5 risk highlighted across our area. Heavy rainfall is going to be the primary threat today. Now, some of these storms may kind of exhale and get some wind, something like an outflow boundary or just little downbursts that could produce gusty winds with it. So more likely for that hazard is heavy rainfall and then that damaging wind potential. Now, we could see heavy rainfall as well in a regular rain, in regular rain. We could also see it in a thunderstorm. Once we go into the 2-3 o'clock time frame, I'm going to back this up here because I had just updated this to indicate our new high resolution modeling. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to turn this off so we got our accurate and latest information here. Okay. Here we are. Once we go to about 1-2 o'clock, that's when we start to see showers and storms develop. Boundary starts to move into our area. As you can see, by the time we get to about 5-6 o'clock, this is pretty, widespread along and north of I-70. As you can see, embedded in that is some darker reds and yellows. That indicates to us thunderstorm activity, but also heavier rainfall embedded within that. Now, when we talk about that potential for flash flooding, there are several key things that, depend on the timing, how long and how quickly that rainfall falls and how much rainfall falls in a short amount of time. So keep that in mind. That's very hard to pinpoint, but as I mentioned, flash flooding can occur quickly. That's why it has tagged flash flooding. So please, please, please be very careful through the day today. Once we get to 5-6 o'clock, you could see some heavier rainfall starting to be, widespread across the area. It continues to push towards the southeast with that leading edge of that heavier rain, as you could see down towards Harrisonville, Odessa. But then it kind of hangs out along the I-70 corridor as we go into the evening, into the overnight, and then eventually maybe starting to break up ever so slightly once we get to Friday morning's commute. But as you can see, that rain is hanging out in many areas for a long time and may dump a lot of rain as well. So once we get to about 11 o'clock noon on Friday, it looks like things start to break up. However, signs are pointing to the chance for rain not being done for Friday as we go into the evening hours. As you can see, afternoon and evening, we start to see some scattered rain and storms build in by 5 p.m. So we do have a flood watch that will go into effect today at 4 p.m. That flood watch is across the area. However, it will end at different times for different places. So for the I-70 corridor in the metro, this will continue. That flood watch will be from 4 p.m. on Thursday to 10 a.m. on Friday. As for those that are towards the southwest in Kansas, that will continue until 1 p.m. on Friday. And then our northern areas will see the longest chance, or say will be under the watch for the longest time frame. That will be from 4 p.m. today to 4 a.m. on our Saturday. So keep that in mind. There are those flood watches that are in effect for the next, the day and into tomorrow. That is the main story with our heavy rainfall potential. I will tell you, though, that we have seen about 5.17 inches of rainfall here in the last 8 days. On a normal, normally when we see heavy rainfall, it's a 1/2 inch to around 1.5 inches. So already our chances to see 1 to 3 inches today are promoting very heavy rainfall. And that is on top of very saturated soils, because we have seen, this is just at KCI, just over 5 inches of rain in a little bit over a week. That would mean if we on the high end maybe get 3 inches of rain, because that's within the probability, that is 8 inches of rain that we could see in about 9 days. That is a lot of rainfall. And I will say that our usual records are between probably around 1 to 3 inches of rainfall on any given day. We could see daily record rainfall being broken. But in addition to that, the top 30 kind of wettest days, heaviest rainfall in a 1-day time span in Kansas City since 1888, those totals are generally around 4 inches or higher. So, a lot of rainfall is possible here. And on a normal day, 1, 2, 3 inches is a lot. There could be higher amounts as we go into this next 36-hour time frame. So our grounds are so saturated that it is easy at this point now, if a lot of rain falls in a quick amount of time, to see some areas of that flooding, especially like when we think about the Kansas City metro, due to, the urban areas flood easier than areas that are more rural because there's not as much runoff places. The ground isn't everywhere. We have concrete in a lot of areas. So it's something that we need to take seriously today. There is that potential as we go through the next 36 hours or so. So make sure that you are, aware, make sure you are prepared for the event that we see that heavy rainfall and there could be some flooding in the area. So that is our main kind of rain, thunderstorm, heavy rainfall story. Now I want to get to the temperatures for today. Now I mentioned that we're not going to be as hot today, and that is going to be due to the rain and thunderstorm activity. However, some areas still remain hot and in that dangerous heat. So the heat advisory does continue for some of our southeastern areas. That will go until 7 p.m. today. So today, very hot, could feel like 105 degrees, but our high temperatures are going to vary greatly due to the cloud cover and that rain chance. So here's a look at the high temperatures today. Our southern areas from Ottawa to Harrisonville to Sedalia in the lower to mid 90s, could be feeling like 105 degrees. We start to see a little bit more cloud cover, rain activity as we get closer to the I-70 corridor, or between about 88 to around 90 degrees. Could feel like 100 on the high end for us. But if you take a look at our northern areas, 83 to 86 degrees is expected. So some of us still continue to see very hot and humid conditions. Others, due to the rainfall and that cloud cover, are not expected to be as hot as we have been, but it's still going to be very humid. The humidity will remain in the miserable category here over really the next 7-day period. And getting to the 7-day, the 90s will be back. We are not done with them yet. So 89 is our high temperature for today. I have talked about Friday and Friday's rain and thunderstorm chance, but due to the cloud cover and the rain chance for Friday as well, we're not expected to be as hot, 87. However, we still could feel like the upper 90s to around 100 degrees because the humidity is so high. Then, as you see, we look beyond. We start to dry out once we get to Saturday. We see mostly sunny conditions. The 90s will be back. 93 on Saturday, 94 on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday could bring us the 2 hottest days so far of the year when we talk about actual temperatures. 97 degrees on Monday and on Tuesday. We then start to maybe see a little bit of relief by the time we get to Wednesday. That would be due to some rain activity as well as, some other things that are going to be at play. But 93 for Wednesday, there are indications to us that that heat wave finally starts to break a little bit when we get to the second half of next week. So it has been a long heat wave, and it will be nice to see some breakage to go to maybe normal temperatures for this time of year. Now, with that being said, Sunday through Wednesday, we continue to see very humid conditions. We will likely see temperatures in the triple digits Saturday through Wednesday of next week. So while the humidity remains, the 90s will be back with the accompaniment of some sunshine by the weekend and into Wednesday of next week. As for Thursday and Friday, that chance for rain and storms, some of it could be heavy. There is that potential for flooding as we go through this next kind of, I would probably say, 36 to 48 hour time frame. Temperatures will be cooler due to the cloud cover and the rain, in the upper 80s, but still could feel as hot as the triple digits. So that is the latest update that I've got for you here. We're going to continue to bring you periodic updates throughout the course of the day today. We've got that First Warn Weather Day in place. Make sure that you have that First Warn 5 Weather app on your phone that will push any notifications that we have or any watches, warnings that may develop as we go through the rest of the day today, tonight, and into tomorrow. So make sure you're staying safe. Make sure you have, be prepared for the potential to see heavy rainfall. And as always, if you see standing water while you're driving, flooded roadways, do not drive into it, turn around. Same thing goes for if you are walking on the sidewalk or things like that. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. We'll continue to check in with you here over the course of the day today. And happy Thursday.
And as Melissa talks about the First Warn Weather app, I also want to direct you to our website, kctv5.com, where this is currently posted on our homepage. If you happen to join this live stream just a tad bit late, she times everything out for you, and our coverage will continue here at KCTV5. And with that being said, I am joined now by Bill Hurlbrink. Bill, like we kind of touched on it early this morning, but this is like deja vu.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep dealing with flooding impacts and just the damage that it's really doing to our community.
Yeah, and I want to clarify that it's the flash flooding, right? This isn't the big type of floods like we had that we see, like back in 2011. I think we had some off the Missouri River. Back in the early to mid 90s when the big floods happened and the Missouri River took over a lot of like Riverside, Parkville, and several other places. These are when we get this large amount of rain in such a short amount of time, and our little waterways like the creeks, like Indian Creek, Tomahawk Creek, Turkey Creek, they can't handle that type of influx of water. And that water has nowhere to go. And it rises so rapidly, and that's what we're really concerned about happening here again. And we saw that last Thursday, especially with Turkey Creek that runs along I-35. Within 10 minutes, that was out of its banks over I-35. They had to shut down the whole interstate until it was able to recede because we got so much rain in such a little amount of time. And that's, I think, really the concern of our meteorologists right now. And just given the setup of our weather pattern, it's hard to tell exactly where that rain is going to fall. So what streams will be affected, what roads will be affected, and when all that's going to happen. Because if we get 3 inches of rain over the course of 5 hours, it's a lot of rain, but it's something that our infrastructure can handle. If we get 3 inches of rain in 90 minutes, well, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, and it is terrifying. I mean, we heard about the woman in Overland Park who lost her life just going for one of her daily walks. And this video is actually coming in from Overland Park. It is file video. This is near Antioch, but this was record-breaking rainfall near 106 in Antioch and Overland Park. And you have been here your entire life, Bill. Have you ever seen anything like this? Are there like hot spots that people should be on the lookout for?
From what I saw last week on Thursday, I've never seen anything like that. Now, I know that Turkey Creek is flooded like that over the interstate, but it's been 10 years ago almost or better, But still seeing some of the images like we saw on Thursday, it's stuff that I've never seen before. And there are very common spots around town. I-35 just to the south of downtown, whenever you get a heavy amount of rain, always will flood. You'll get 6 to 7 inches of water on the highway, and you see people just driving through it, and it's just like, oh, folks, what are you doing?
Yeah, it goes back to that tip, that reminder that we always hear is turn around, don't drown. I know that's how Melissa just ended her weather update, is if you see standing water, do not go in that direction.
And the fact that it's moving, too. In 6 inches of water is all it takes to move your car. I mean, that flows perpendicularly against your car. It can take it and move it depending on how fast it is. And then if that goes up a couple, 3 more inches, you can find yourself in a really bad situation really rapidly, and that's why it's best just not to take the risk. Turn around and just go the other way, find another way to get to where you need to go. Despite how much of a of a detour you might have to take.
Right, and I want to touch on that as far as traffic is concerned, being in your car, but also if you're just walking, especially your children, your teenagers, make sure they are not going in the water as well, because you just do not know.
Oh yeah, it's sewer water that's backing up too, so it's a health hazard as well.
Right.
It's something that you don't want to get into. You know, it might be fun to go play, and it's not. It's not safe, and I would never let my kids get anywhere near that. And let's just talk about some of those locations. And you mentioned them here. You know, you got Tomahawk Creek running through parts of Prairie Village. You got Turkey Creek over there that runs through parts of Johnson County into Wyandotte County. You've got Indian Creek on the south side. Any of those low-lying areas can rapidly fill up with water. Southwest Boulevard, Southwest Traffic Way, I-35 near 18th Street. Sometimes those interior lanes can see a large amount of ponding water. And we've got so much road construction right now, Janae, across the entire area. Sometimes when they set up the cones to do traffic control and they do different road grading, that can affect the way the water runs off the highways. And sometimes, not on purpose, that water can pond different places, and you just really got to be careful going through just really any parts of our community, especially when we get this heavy rainfall. And it's just so hard to predict right now, just given the weather setup of where exactly it's going to fall. And again, like I said before, it's the rain rate, just how rapidly, how quickly that rain starts to pile up in our rain gauges and on our roads and in our ponds and creeks is really what is going to determine what kind of mess or what type of event we're going to see later today into tomorrow.
As you said, you know, you never really know. But what you can do right now, especially if you were sitting at home, is just take a look at your surroundings. I know you touched on that this morning as well. Ponds and rivers, and just see, because I'm going back to the woman that in the family that Morgan Rydell spoke to, what was that, last week? And their trampoline was completely gone. But their backyard was flooded. So,
and they had that creek that flooded in their backyard as well that came up so rapidly, upwards of 12 feet into their home. I mean, they had 3.5, 4 foot of water in their house, right? And it wasn't there 30 minutes before it was, right? It all of a sudden, it came up, boom, it was there, and then it receded within 12 to 15 minutes. But there is a resource. We talked about it this morning. It's on KCTV5.com, where you can go onto the watershed and you can put in your zip code, you can put in your address, and you can find out if you are in an area that could be susceptible to any of this flash flooding, whether it's because there's a creek or a pond, a river, a stream, some other kind of waterway in your backyard. Those are cataloged, you know, so they should be able to tell you. I can't remember the name of the website right now, but I know it's somewhere on KCTV5.com.
We will find it before we end the stream.
Yeah, and we'll get it up on the front page, or we'll work with you on a way to find that, or put it in the comments or something of this stream if we can do that. But yeah, just knowing and being prepared, knowing where you are, knowing where you could be at when this rain starts to fall is just very important.
Yeah, no, and we will definitely keep you all posted. We'll have another weather update during our noon newscast, and then we'll also have another one right here on the live desk with our meteorologist. Bill, I want to thank you for joining me here at the live desk. And I know we have Bill's weekend picks coming up here in just a bit, so if people are still trying to plan out their weekend, or maybe tomorrow night, they have some things to do. I know some exciting things are happening.
There's a lot happening this weekend,
And Bill is your guy. Alrighty, Bill, thanks for joining me.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, flash flooding is the #1 storm-related killer in the United States, with the threat of flash flooding for the third time just in the last week. We want to be sure that you are prepared and safe. So here are some things to think about this morning. Before storms hit this afternoon, have your emergency kit ready. That includes flashlights, candles, and non-perishable food and water, and know the flood risk for your area. FEMA has a mapping tool online that you can use for free. As Bill just mentioned, all you have to do is type in your address, and the tool will show you just how dangerous your area is if flooding gets severe. If you are not on foot, or if you are on foot, I should say, remember to turn around and don't drown. It only takes a few inches of water to sweep you off of your feet, and once you're in the water, the big issue is the debris the flood carries with it, like limbs and sometimes even trees.
Once you're in it, it's too late. You're just going to have to be conscious. Watch what's going on the news. Watch the weather. And when you see that water coming up, and especially young children that want to get near that water and play, you're going to have to really keep an eye on them and just stay away from it.
And when it comes to being on the roads, remember these facts. Most cars will become hard to drive in as little as 6 inches of water and can be swept away in 18 to 24 inches of water. Death is easily avoidable by simply just turning around. Again, I know we always hear that. We've heard it since we've been kids, or since we were kids, I should say. Turn around, don't drown. That is so, so very important. We want to make sure you are doing that. And not only you want to make sure you pass that message on to your loved ones as well. Now, speaking of loved ones, I do want to turn to this story as well. The family and friends of the woman swept away by Monday's flash floods in Overland Park gathered to remember her life. Flowers can be seen at the sign for Creekside Park today, where the woman would walk every single day. KCTV5's Chandler Watkins spoke with her family on how they are remembering her.
Just a person full of life.
Anupama Vadia's family says she was friendly to everyone she met and loved to go on her daily walks. Monday morning was no different.
It just started to pour very heavily. We have a creek that cuts the trail twice. She was just taken away by the water.
Her family is urging everyone to take flash flood warnings seriously and to look out for each other.
Just a little bit of help could have saved somebody's life.
They're also thankful for the love their community has shown them this week.
We have been blessed by so many nice people around us, my friends now. They are like family to me.
A GoFundMe was set up for the family, and they say they're working on ways to honor Anupama's life. Reporting in Overland Park, Chandler Watkins, KCTV5 News.
Now, on top of weather, we are also following some news headlines for you today on this Thursday as you set out and get ready for your day. I do want to take a look at this video. If you happen to miss the morning show, you happen to miss this breaking news from overnight. Kansas City police investigating a deadly stabbing near a downtown apartment complex. KCTV5's Nathan Brennan joins us from Admiral Boulevard this morning with the latest details.
Good morning, Kansas City. I'm Nathan Brennan at the intersection of Virginia and Admiral. It was an early wake-up call for residents here in this area as Kansas City police investigate the latest homicide in Kansas City. As you can see, there are several officers and first responders here on scene. What we do know at this point in time is that an adult male was stabbed and killed behind this apartment complex that you're seeing on the left side of your screen. We know that that gentleman was stabbed and killed in the parking lot behind this apartment complex. We have seen several detectives and police officers entering and exiting this apartment complex, trying to talk to anyone in the area that might have information. At this point in time, no suspect is in custody. This is an ongoing investigation. As always, if you know anything, if you saw anything, you are asked to contact the TIPS hotline or Kansas City Police.
Again, that was KCTV5's Nathan Brennan reporting. Of course, we will continue to keep you posted on that, and heading again over to our website, kctv5.com. That breaking news story is listed on our homepage currently. You can also download the KCTV5 News app. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Bill will have this weekend's picks.
Well, good morning. It's Bill Hurlbrink here with another edition of Bill's Weekend Picks. Been gone for the last couple of days, but we're back. I was on vacation, but now we're back with a full list of fun things to do here across the city as we get ready for a busy weekend here in Kansas City. I know you're going to probably get your forecast, or you just had your forecast a little bit ago. You're going to have it soon. But a lot of rain kind of forecasted and some flash flooding for later today, but don't let that discourage you from getting out and doing a lot of fun things over the weekend because there is a lot going on. Let's go ahead and start with our Kansas City Royals because they are back home after winning tonight or last night in Chicago. They got an off day today. Tomorrow they start a series with the Cleveland Guardians. A big American League Central matchup this weekend. Plenty of tickets still available for those. And so you can get out and hopefully watch the boys in blue bring in some wins here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But if you really want to have some fun, think about going out on Saturday night because after the game, there is going to be a concert. The one, the only Flo Rida. You know him from songs like Low and Right Round that featured Kesha on the vocals. So that concert's going to be right after the game. And I remember as a kid going to a couple of Royals games and seeing a concert right afterwards. Now, it was a little bit different than Flo Rida. It was Casey and the Sunshine Band and the Village People. But if you go out Saturday night, I think you're going to still have a great time, again, watching the Royals beat up on the Cleveland Guardians and then catching Flo Rida and the show after that game. So keep that in mind. And then again, that series is going to wrap up on Sunday. There's a 1:10 first pitch if you want to get out to the K for an afternoon game on Sunday. Just keep in mind it's going to be getting warm, especially as we get towards the end part of the weekend into the beginning of next week. Also happening this weekend, this is actually kind of the second weekend of this, is KC Fringe Festival is on again. And you want to talk about a festival and experience that truly encapsulates the entire metropolitan area of Kansas City. KC Fringe Festival is one of those that you've got to check out. It got started here in the middle of the month, but they're going to continue with a lot of different events, plays, and performances going into this weekend as well. Now, this is some video of the festival from a few years ago when they did a lot of digital performances, but Fringe Festival touts themselves as, again, the largest celebration of arts and culture in Kansas City. This is their 20th season of the festival. It started back in 2005, and again, this is, like I said, a really city-wide festival. There's stages all over town for you to check out. If you want, go to kcfringe.com and it lists all the different performances, all the different stages of what you can see. There's literally somebody or something for anyone in this show. I guarantee you're going to find something that you think is unique, different, or you've never seen before. A great opportunity to get out and see something maybe that wasn't on your radar before. Introduce yourself to something new, and you can do that this weekend by stopping by the KC Fringe Festival. Another big show that is happening here again this weekend. I love music from the Temptations. There's an amazing Broadway show called Ain't Too Proud to Beg that features the life and the stories of the Temptations. They're going to be playing at Starlight this weekend. They'll continue their Broadway or their run through Sunday. Ain't Too Proud to Beg was nominated for 12 Tony Awards during its Broadway run. And again, this show runs through Sunday night at Starlight. And you know all of these songs that are performed. It's certified classics like My Girl, Just My Imagination, Get Ready, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, and tons more. There's still plenty of tickets available if you want to get out to that. You can go to KCStarlight.com to get your tickets there. Keep in mind you also have to purchase parking for that as well. And again, like I said, plenty of tickets still available for that one. Maybe going out to shows isn't necessarily your jam. You want to try something else? Well, we can do that too. How about Fourth Fridays on a couple of different sides of the state line? So let's start over in Lee Summit. They have their Fourth Fridays Art Walk tomorrow. That gets underway later in the afternoon, early evening. And actually, there's a little bit of a theme to this week's show. It's called Rocking and Chalking. It has nothing to do with the Kansas Jayhawks, just so you know. Artists Friedel Taylor and Elijah Harris are going to be there doing a community chalk art activity. So if you want to take the kids, get out there, check it out, and have some fun. That's happening in downtown Lee Summit tomorrow. You can go to downtownls.org for more information on that one. Now let's jump over to the Kansas side of the state line because Olathe is also hosting its Fourth Fridays tomorrow as well. This one runs from 6 o'clock in the evening until 9 o'clock at night. They have food trucks, live music, shopping, and tons more there in the little downtown area of Olathe. If you go down to the Old Settlers Parade, it's right there in that same area of downtown Olathe. Tomorrow's live music comes from Boogie Nights KC, so you're going to be able to get down with music from like the Bee Gees, maybe we'll throw in some Earth, Wind, and Fire, maybe some Donna Summer. You just never know. You got to go check it out to find out what all of their favorite disco songs are going to be played. fourthfridays.olathe.org is where you can find out all the information about Fourth Fridays in Olathe. Also coming up on Saturday, a beloved singer-songwriter will be in the Metro. The one and only Michael Franti will be at Grinders KC, which Grinders touts itself as the best outdoor venue to see a show in Kansas City. Doors open at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. The show gets underway at 6:45. Tickets are $45. You can get them by hopping onto the website on your screen. That's grinderskc.com. And then finally on Sunday, if you want to head out to the World War I Museum and Memorial, there is a big car show that's going to be going on out there. It's put on by the Kansas City Auto Museum. If you haven't checked this out, there is a lot of incredible muscle cars and unique cars that you probably have never seen before. And all you have to do is, you can park anywhere along the streetcar route and then ride the streetcar down to Union Station, hop across Pershing, and boom, you're there at the Liberty Memorial, and you can go check it out. Again, this is the 2025 Great Car Show. Let's click on it here and bring it to open. I mean, look at those classic Corvettes right there. That's something you just got to go check out, right? And again, this goes to help out the folks do their mission there at the Kansas City Automotive Museum. Tickets are $7 for adults, $3 for kids. You can go spend the afternoon out there. And, of course, there'll be plenty of food trucks and more entertainment out there as well, plus tons of classic cars. And, again, unique cars that you may not have seen anywhere else before. That's happening on Sunday out at the Liberty Memorial. That'll start at 10 o'clock in the morning. It runs till 3 o'clock. So if you got to go to church that morning, go. Come to see the car show, get some food, and enjoy time outdoors with the family. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Bill's Weekend Picks. Again, it's something we do every single Thursday here at KCTV5 to try to give you an idea, some fun stuff to do, to get out, enjoy time outdoors, enjoy time with friends and family as we head into these all busy weekends. So until next time, I'll see you again. Have a great time. And if there's something that you want us to mention here on Bill's Weekend Picks, make sure you let me know. Go to KCTV5.com, find my page over there, send me an email, let me know what's going on that we need to talk about here on Bill's Weekend Picks, and we'll be glad to do it next time around. So until next time, have a great weekend, stay busy, have fun, take care of yourselves.
Welcome back into the live desk. We are continuing to bring you your news headlines. I do want to turn now to this video. If you happen to miss the morning show, we touched on it just a bit. When you think of Children's Mercy Park, you often think of Sporting KC soccer games, but what about concerts or parties? Well, the unified government of Wyandotte County is working to make that happen. The county is considering adding a stage and a large screen at the soccer stadium. No renderings have been released just yet, but Children's Mercy Park seats more than 18,000 for games, but can accommodate up to 25,000 for special events. The city council would need to approve a special permit to move forward with the plan, but their next meeting is scheduled for next week, so we will be sure to keep you all posted. I also want to take a look at this video as well. It has made its rounds on social media. I know the entire metro is very, very excited about this. Hollywood came to the backyard of Blue Springs, so they're also very excited as well. Ted Lasso crews were spotted filming season 4, and one family is celebrating in their own special way. They threw on their blue and yellow Believe t-shirts and that they actually made for themselves, and other neighbors joined in on the fun as well. They say it's really exciting to have their favorite show filmed in their hometown as well as in their backyard.
We've been waiting for months for this to happen, and then it was really strange because yesterday we ended up seeing some stuff over there, and I was like, that's kind of weird. And so I was like, watched it, and then all of a sudden I was like, they put a barrier up, it has to be here. And we had heard it was going to be in our neighborhood, and we didn't realize it was going to be back here.
I mean, can you imagine just having your favorite show filmed in your backyard? That is amazing. We've also kept our eyes peeled for Jakin Sudeikis, but they haven't spotted him yesterday. But they are expected to make their way to the plaza today after rain actually set them back on their shoot earlier this week. I know you probably saw those photos posted on social media as well, so we'll keep you all posted on that. We are going to take another quick break, but when we come back, I believe the Chiefs press conference is set to get underway. Again, just reminding you of who we are expecting to hear from. Today we're expecting to hear from head coach Andy Reid as well as Creed Humphrey and Kareem Hunt. So we're just waiting for that press conference to get underway in St. Joe, and as soon as I see the players approach the podium, we'll bring it to you live right here at the live desk. We'll be right back after the break. You are taking a live look from St. Joe as we are waiting for the Chiefs to approach the podium. A few players as well as head coach Andy Reid. They just wrapped up their third day of training camp. I also want to take a look at the social media platform X. The team just posted this photo not too long ago with the caption, "Ladies and gentlemen, our QB room." You can see Patrick Mahomes right there in the middle. So again, we are waiting for that press conference to get underway. I know we are for sure expecting to hear from Andy Reid, Creed Humphrey, as well as Kareem Hunt. But before we hear from them, I do want to take a look back at yesterday's headlines. KCTV5 Sports Director Marlia Campbell has that.
Day 2 of Chiefs training camp is officially in the books. Let's run through our top storylines in St. Joe in today's 2-minute drill.
Anybody at any given time can go deep.
There's your play of the day. Patrick Mahomes launches downfield to Tyquan Thornton, who makes the impressive catch during 7-on-7 drills. You'll be seeing more of this. The Chiefs say they're emphasizing the deep ball at this year's camp. Last season, Kansas City ranked second to last in the league in pass completions longer than 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage with 12.
Well, I don't like them when they happen. However, because look at, you can't touch the quarterback, so it's a longer down. But hopefully it makes us better in eliminating those, because those will kill you in the game. I can remember 1 or 2 there today. But listen, the offenses will make us better by doing that.
These days are long, they're hot, the guys are staying in the dorms, and Andy Reid is known to run one of the toughest camps in the NFL. But defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is reminding his guys to stay grateful these next few weeks.
I just felt compelled to tell them, don't ever take this for granted. Like, it gets hard out here and all that. And I told them, look, at my age, I'm happy to be in the first meeting at training camp, have a job, be healthy enough to do it, right?
You never know how many more of these training camps you got, man. As players, naturally, we want this to last forever, but physically, the body takes a toll. You definitely got to cherish these moments.
And lastly, after missing a bulk of last season to a fractured fibula, then injuring his ribs against the Steelers, Isaiah Pacheco says he's healthy and ready to roll.
I'm feeling really good, having fun. I'm with the guys, excited to be back out here in this environment. It's a beautiful setting. Just finding ways to get better, and most importantly, building off of last year.
In St. Joe, Marlia Campbell, KCTV5 Sports.
And I want to head over to our website, kctv5.com, reminding you of this. It is posted on our homepage. You can also find it on the KCTV5 News app with this live blog coming in from a training camp. Those photos coming in from Marlia, who we just heard from. And then we also have some fan photos. You can see Patrick Mahomes walking down the hill. Look at these cute kiddos as well. And you can also send us your photos if you are a Kansas City Chiefs super fan. All you have to do is scroll all the way down of this web story, and you can see the option to add media. Now you can add photos as well as some videos. It looks like we have some posted. The last one was a day ago, but we have a lot of different photos. This is actually our news team 2 days ago. This is my KC Live. So you can head over to our website, kctv5.com. Again, it is posted on our home page, and you can see who is set to approach the podium, which we are going to take a live look from right now as we wait for head coach Andy Reid.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Is the mic better today? Oh, come on. What are you gonna ask? I don't know. Wild. Yeah. Just a sea of people just warm. So it's hard to track for these, right? Yeah. 4 days. I was out there the longest.
As we wait for head coach Andy Reid to take to the podium, I do want to bring you some breaking news. Turning to this tweet coming in from the WWE, you can see it right here on your screen. They confirmed that Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away, one of pop culture's most recognizable figures. Hogan helped WWE achieve global recognition back in the 1980s, and they are also extending their condolences to Hogan's family, friends, and fans as well. This is posted all over social media right now. A lot of people reacting. Again, this news just coming in that Hulk Hogan has reportedly died at the age of 71. Hogan's manager told NBC in Los Angeles that he died at his home in Florida, surrounded by family. Hogan reportedly, I should say, suffered cardiac arrest. This is posted on our website, kctv5.com. I want to take you there now. It is also posted on the KCTV5 News app. All you have to do is just hit News tab right at the top. It should load for you, and then if you hit National News, there it is. Hulk Hogan dead at the age of 71. Again, he died surrounded by family at his home, I should say, in Clearwater, Florida. As new updates come in, as reaction pours in on social media, we'll be sure to bring you that. But for now, I believe here comes head coach Andy Reid.
That was fast.
All right, these were the injuries here. The guys that didn't practice, at least. Fulton, Taylor, Watson, everybody else is gone and has done a good job. Just a shout out to Tyron for a great career. Matthew, what a great career he had. The game will miss him, miss his energy. Definitely an energy giver, great leader. Hopefully he gets into coaching, because he'd be a heck of a coach if he decides to go that way. He'd be tremendous. But we wish he and his family all the best going forward here. With that, it's been great to get out here, get these days in. We've had 3 really good days of work where we get 1s against 1s, 2s against 2s, 3s against 3s. So there's some competition there and some good solid work. It's a ramp-up period. We've got another day or 2 of this, and then we start right in with pads and on Sunday. So anyways, with that, time's yours.
You mentioned Tyron Matthew to kick this off. What was your reaction when you heard that he was retiring? And secondly, what's his legacy in your opinion?
Yeah, well, the legacy is great ball skills, great player, great guy. Always been a team captain everywhere he's been at, including here. He got a Super Bowl championship here, and he was a leader on defense. So I think he'll leave all that behind. But and that's not even talking about being. If he chose to do that throughout his career, he probably would have set all the records of punt returner. So he was tremendous at that. Anyway, I could go on and on about him. The honey badger. that'll be part of the legacy also. He would sit on the bench there and he'd make all kinds of funny noises. You know, so not only did he have the blonde hair, but he'd be over there making all those noises. But what a great kid! Loved coaching him.
Pre-Humphrey, I wonder if you could sum up what he's meant to you guys, and what do you think enables his success?
Yeah, well, and he's still young, so he's a very good athlete. Great balance, ex-wrestler, great balance and upper body strength. He's got lower body, one of the stronger guys on the team, and he's got a nice feel for the game. Plus, he's very intelligent. Yeah.
Andy, what do you think of Taekwondo so far?
Yeah, I like what I've seen. He's working hard at it. He's made some big catches out here, working his routes, playing physical in his transition game there. So you just got to keep coming. And we're still young in this thing, so we got to keep bringing it here.
How have Simmons and Moore look so far at your tackle spots?
Yeah, they've done some good things. They're getting better. They get better and better every day. So it's been good that way. Young guys working. Well, looking forward to getting the pads. It's hard to evaluate them in doing this, but it's we'll see how they do with the pads on.
Andy, early impressions of Jalen Royals too. Rookie receiver Jalen Royals.
Yeah.
Just early impressions of him.
Yeah. So he looks like he's very smart because we're in our third install here today, and we load him up with plays early, and he's been able to retain a lot of things the newer stuff that we introduced to him before, and the new stuff we've introduced now. So that's a good sign. And then he's made some catches. You've seen it out here. He's made some catches, and does he have a long way to go? Yeah, well, he's got to keep working and work through all of this, and we'll see how it goes when everything's flying.
What have your impressions been of Gardner Minshew so far, leading the second team? He's been around the league, a lot of different systems, and how he's adapted to your offense.
Yeah, you can see that with Gardner. You can see that he's smart. He's got good accuracy, poise. I think it's great to have him here. We're pleased to have him here. And you kind of have a heads up because he's actually started in games, so you kind of know how he handles the pressure in that. So we liked what we saw on tape, and I've seen the same thing here, so he should be fine.
Coach, you might have the best view of anybody because you're standing behind Patrick during practice. Are there still moments that you see him do something even on a day like this where just be like, geez, where did that come from? Or are you just so focused on what's going on that it doesn't kick in sometimes?
No, I tell the coaches this all the time. You never take that for granted. So appreciate every one of those throws he makes, because you don't get that very often in a career, and as a coach. And yeah, absolutely. There are times I go, whoa, that was pretty good right there now. So yeah.
Coach Reid, after heavy workload last year, what are you expecting out of Kareem Hunt this year?
Yeah, he's had an off season. He kind of missed 2 off seasons there, and he had this off season. He worked hard. Now he's coming into training camp. He's in good shape, and I would expect good things. He'll be in there rotating and doing his thing, and he's just a good, solid football player. Man. I love having him here.
I'm curious of what he's done, bringing Sewell to bring him aboard, and how valuable is it having a quarterback? Did you choose to do that?
Yeah, so Brett gets the credit for that one. He loved him and loved what he saw, and so far the kid has done a nice job. Again, let's see how he does when things get going, but he's working in there. It looks like the quarterbacks trust him. They're throwing it to him, so it's positive. Yeah.
Last one, Nate.
Andy, he's been with you the longest, I should say, but I know it's just 3 days in. Any difference you're seeing in the way Travis is moving before you get to pads?
Yeah, he's svelte right now. It looks like he's 20. He's doing a good job. He's in great shape, and I'm not sure he didn't come in first on the whole conditioning thing. He was right up front. You can see he's been working out. You saw him yesterday on the long one where he had the burst, and so he's doing a nice job. He's worked hard to get to this spot here. So.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
important play because they're all coming down.
How's it going? Reed, how happy were you for Trey Smith to sign that long-term deal? What's that mean that he'll be next to you for several years now here in Kansas City?
Yeah, super pumped. I mean, he deserves every penny of it. He's a great player, obviously, but just being able to have that chemistry built with him, just seeing how he works, how he leads, it's a huge deal for the room. So really excited to have him.
What are the challenges working with two big tackles?
Yeah, just I think just getting the chemistry down with the offensive line. So that's why camp's really good for this. You get a ton of reps in, a ton of looks against Spags defense. So it's preparing you all for the season. So we're excited about it. We got some really good talent in that room right now, and it's going to be a really good competition.
Stu Monte is making that transition to guard, and he's competing for that spot next to you. What have you seen from him, and how's that building chemistry with him in a new spot?
Yeah, he's been doing awesome. He's a great player, extremely talented, obviously, and he works really hard. So it's been really good to see how he's been working and how he's, taken on the new role and has adapted to it, learning a new position and everything. And he's done a really good job with it. Physical player, talented player, athletic as well, and he's picking up the playbook really well. So we're excited about him.
We had a couple of the diversity fellowships in with Juan Castillo and Cam Irvin. What's been the experience of working with both of those?
It's been awesome. Cam played here, so he knows the system really well. He's been, in a few different spots in the league, so he has a ton of knowledge. And he's awesome to work with. Connects really well with the players too, and he's a mentor that you can look up to because he's been in the shoes before. He knows the experience, he knows everything about it. So he's been a really good asset so far. And then obviously Juan Castillo, highly respected guy in the offensive line community. Everybody knows him, so he's someone that has a wealth of knowledge. Just really smart, understands technique really well, and he loves working with guys. He's been having a lot of fun being able to teach techniques and hang out with the guys and just kind of share his wisdom. So it's been really good to have both of them.
What's it like record on that? First All-Pro selection this past season in the NFL top 100 players list earlier this year. How much does that mean to you to know that your work is actually paying off and getting these accolades and becoming one of the best centers in the league?
Yeah, it's obviously a blessing, to get those accolades and stuff. But for me, it's focusing about what you can improve. You can never stop improving. You can never reach the top. You're always going to keep improving. You can keep learning all those things. So for me, it's a great feeling getting the recognition and everything. But for me, I know there's stuff I need to work on. So I'm hungry. I'm hungry to come out here and grind, get stuff going in training camp. So it's been fun. I'm so hungry I could eat like Matt McMullen. So but it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun getting out here and working and grinding.
Was that a prank of some sort?
Huh? Yeah. Yes.
Neil. Given what happened in the Super Bowl, and every time I watched this NFL Network this summer, that's all I saw. What drives this offensive line? I mean, what do you guys think about going into the season?
Yeah, for us, we learned from it, and we're moving past it. We have a lot of stuff to work on, and we know that. And for us, it's improving every single day. So you learn what you can, and then you move on, and you're ready to get that feeling off you. So we're looking forward to getting in here, working, training, going against the great D-line that we have, and just improving, and ready to show it week 1.
4 more. Let's start over there.
Obviously, Josh, he's had a lot of experience, especially in the what is your
main takeaways from him? Yeah. No, obviously extremely talented. You can see it on the field. Moves really well, very athletic and very strong. I mean, he's got his first punch is insane. He's got a ton of stuff that just a lot of people don't naturally have. So with him, it's been awesome to see that stuff, and he's been working it really well. But another thing with him is that he has that drive. It's been really good to see him working, doing extra stuff after practices. Focusing more in the meeting rooms, taking what he can, studying on his own. It's been really good to see, and you can tell he's very mature and professional about how he goes about business, and it's been awesome to have him.
Greg, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Trey Smith the other day. This is your first time since your rookie year you won't have Joe Tooney on your left. What do you think you'll miss the most not having his presence in that locker room?
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, he was a talented player. Obviously, you know, he's all pros, all that stuff. You know, he's one of the best guards in the league. So, you know, you're gonna miss that, but also just the camaraderie. You know, he was a great teammate, great mentor. Always kept, you know, the room with good morale. Always cracking jokes, being funny, but doing it in the right time and leading the right way. So. He set a good example for me and Trey to follow these past 4 years, and we've learned a ton from him. So, you know, I'm extremely thankful for the time I had with Joe. He was an awesome teammate and a great leader.
How much are you looking forward to seeing Travis and Happy Gilmore too?
Really excited. Yeah, I don't really know how big his role is or what he's doing in it, so I'm excited to see it, though. Happy Gilmore is an awesome movie, so I can't wait for the sequel.
Greg, you touched on this, but just with Josh Simmons when he was drafted, a lot of people were talking about his health. What's the progress that you've seen for him to get to training camp, kind of being out here?
Yeah, well, you could tell all OTAs, you know, it was something that he wanted. He was working nonstop on it, you know, making sure he was getting healthy as quick as he could. So that was awesome to see, and he's moving really well, playing really well right now. He seems to be fully healthy, and he's getting after it. So it's been a lot of fun to see.
So who challenged you to say that you were so hungry you could eat in that? What's the story here?
I don't want to get into it. I don't know. We can talk about it another time.
Creed, with it on the horizon, what's that first day of the pads like when you finally hit somebody?
Yeah, it's exciting. You know, we've been doing all these practices, all OTAs, everything, you know, non-padded. So it's hard to get, you know, a real look of what guys can do in the run game, what they can do full speed. So it's exciting, you know, just getting out there, putting the pads on, getting that first 9-on-7 period going. You get to see what guys are made of. You know, you have a general idea right now, but you can't really tell until the pads come on. So I'm excited to see, you know, the guys compete and get after it, see the physicality, and go from there.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. How you guys doing? Hey.
This last your rookie deal, just what you think going into this season for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's I try to keep my mind off it as best you can. You know, that can become an unnecessary stress on yourself and on your shoulders. So I just look at, you know, still being selfless, doing what I can for the team, not trying to do too much, still do my job, and, you know, doing what I can, but at the same time growing and get better.
How much do you relish being able to do a lot of these things?
Yeah, I mean, with Spags, you got to pay the cheese tax, man. It's you got to work hard. You got full effort. You got to, you know, make plays in different positions. So with him, like being able to line up anywhere and him asking you to do that, it's a really big privilege. And, you know, talking with him now, it's, you know, just trying to extend it more and more, and, you know, open up you know, my game as much as possible.
Dale, you're pretty emotional after the Super Bowl. How much does that game motivate you for this season?
You know, it was hard. Obviously, we were extremely privileged and blessed, and to be able to do what we did. But it's the same thing with the Super Bowl win. You know, last off season, it's like that was great, but we got to learn from where we messed up and get better from there. And losing is obviously a lot worse feeling and extreme. And all of us hate losing more than we love winning. So we're taking more and more as much as we can from what we did wrong, but you know, just building on it, flushing the emotions out of it. We're at the point where you get like the emotions are flushed out, and now it's all about just getting better.
How long did it take to flush those emotions out and get over that loss?
You know, for me personally, I can't speak for anybody, but you know, I was kind of moping around all off season a little bit. You know, once we got in the building again, I'm like, all right, you know, it's time to turn the page and, you know, work on something new here.
You feel like that can be used as motivation now?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I don't like feeling with that. Like, obviously, you know, we're gonna work regardless how we feel, but we're gonna use that feeling and know, like, okay, we can get where we want to be, but we also have to understand, like, what it feels like to, you know, come that close, but, you know, lose like that.
Yes, back to the authority and talking about how much Nick Bolton means to the room. I guess from a player's standpoint, what does he mean for you and the entire defense?
Oh, he means everything. When he's on the field, it's just different. You guys can see it, I'm sure. He just, not only his play, his leadership, his loud, bold communication, just his positivity. Like, you go down the list of what a leader is, and everything. It's like Nick Bolton checks the box. So it's just, it gives a boost, and like it boosts morale to the whole team and makes everybody play better around him.
How much pride do you take in special teams and the success that you've had on special teams?
Yeah, no, it's huge. Obviously, I'm not, every down linebacker for the most part. I got a certain percentage of snaps, and obviously looking to extend that. But I want to play what I'm playing. I want to be the best of what I can be. Whether it's punt, kickoff return, Sam linebacker, filling in for Buck, whatever it is. Like we got a good core unit of guys that have been here now on special teams that are leaders, and we're looking to be better and better. And obviously, we got Coach Tobe, who's a legend. So just continue to climb the mountain.
You mentioned wanting to extend the number of snaps at the percentage. What did you do in the offseason as far as trying to do that?
It's just working with different coaches, taking techniques that I've learned, from the guys on the team, different specialists and stuff like that. Continue to not only, lift and condition. You got to think about it like, all right, there's a whole other side of things. You got to actually, work on the skills that you feel uncomfortable with and get that repetition down so you're more comfortable in those positions.
You talked about Moby Leo. What does a Moby Leo look like after Super Bowl, and how did you get over it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little dramatic. I'm not sitting there like hanging my head, like I'm still working. But my wife's like, all right, come on, like you need to be a little more positive about things. I'm like, it's like a week afterwards. I'm like, whatever, screw this. It makes you like pissed off of yourself too. Like I don't like feeling like this. I don't like looking like this to my wife, my family. I'm like, all right, let's, that's another motivation.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Leo.
All right, thank you.
Coach mentioned that you get the benefit of a full off season now in preparation. How much is that going to help you? How good do you feel right now as far as your body and your condition?
It's going to help me a lot. Tremendous, and to be able to get a full off season and be out here in these hot boy summer days, and just able to work with the team and eat healthy and stuff like that. So it's a big advantage.
You jumped right in and had a heavy workload right away last year. Did you do anything different this offseason as opposed to past off seasons to prepare yourself?
Oh, for sure. I was more locked in, staying, on schedule. Because I didn't know when I was gonna, get picked up, or when I was gonna have the opportunity, or if I was gonna have the opportunity to play again. So, I stayed on top of things. Just, off season, made sure I stayed in good shape from OTAs, and just able to, keep building on what I've already built.
Where were you when you were at this time? What were you doing?
Honestly, I was in Cleveland. I was, hanging out with my family, taking my boat out every day, and just, working out, staying in shape, man. Waiting on the call, So I was honestly, I wasn't trying to celebrate my birthday, but I got to celebrate my birthday, so that was cool.
There's been some NFL people around the league call you the best short yardage back in the NFL this offseason. Did you ever think you would wear that label, and do you take pride in that?
I mean, yeah, I take pride in whatever, I do. And, that's one of those things. Those are big-time plays. People don't understand, how hard to get those 2-3 yards and, punch it in. Those keep the drives alive and, get us more opportunities to, make big plays. So, that's one of those things I take pride in, and, it's a mindset thing.
What's the secret to kind of keeping that pile moving for another yard or two?
I mean, keeping these legs driving, man, that's the biggest thing, and not being tackled by one person, being able to, carry a person for the extra 3-4 yards, even if you're hitting the backfield, just finding a way, man.
You had a pretty big workload last year. How do you feel like your body came through that as you progressed late in the season and then in the offseason as well?
I think, I did the best I could, for sure. Would take care of my body. It wasn't easy, but, I feel like later in the season, in the playoffs, I start, really getting a groove. And, it's hard to really simulate going out there and getting hit, training and stuff like that. Like my track coach isn't gonna line up and tackle me or try to chase me down or anything like that. It's a different type of speed out there from training by yourself and just working out and stuff.
Is there any advantage of this that maybe you didn't get last year then? When I said this, and just being up here in training camp every day then?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely an advantage. I get to, be around guys who pushing me, guys who challenging me each and every day instead of, me trying to, push myself, by myself, working out and staying in shape and making sure I hold myself accountable of what I eat, what I, do in my off time.
Great. How much fun do you have with Isaiah and the rest of the right back off the field?
Oh, we have a great time, man. We just always, clowning around, having fun, and, just joking around. And then when it's time to play ball, we take it very serious.
You've talked about eating healthy a couple times here. What have you changed? What have you cut out? What are you missing?
Oh man, I'm just cutting out fried food and stuff like that. No fried chicken, no stuff like that, and no snacks, no little Debbie's or nothing like that. So, so it's just one of those things. You just got to get your body right for the long run. When I'm 35, 36, I can do all that.
Little Debbie's your favorite snack? Is that tough?
Man, I love Swedish fish, man, and Twizzlers.
We'll go a couple more. We'll go Nick Mac.
Kareem, what's the experience like on the first day in the pads? What's the emotions coming out on the hill that day?
What, first day in pads? I mean, you got to bring it, man. Everybody's out here trying to fight for a spot, and, people going to give you their best effort, and it's all for a good cause. We're just trying to make each other better out there, so, you just got to bring your game.
You said last year you were working out this time. Were you fully recovered and rehabbed at this point? Could you have been in the camp health-wise last year?
Yeah, I could have been in the camp. I was just, overcoming those injuries. I had my sports hernia surgery like in February after the season, and I was recovering, and I honestly could have been in the camp for sure, but, it was just one of those things that, you just got to wait for an opportunity to call, and it happened to be here. I honestly, I don't think so. I mean, it was just, God must have had his hand on my shoulder or something, because it's crazy how, things go in full circle.
Kareem, your fellow Cleveland native, Travis, is going to be on Happy Gilmore 2 tomorrow night. How much are you looking forward to that? Is there a watch party involved?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to watch it sometime soon, man. That's pretty cool, man. I can't wait to see his acting skills, man. I'm going to clown him if he do something silly, so... it's just a big deal. I can't wait to see it.
Thanks, Kareem.
Thank you.
Welcome back into the live desk and welcome into another edition of Voices of the Newsroom here at KCTV5. This is your opportunity to learn more about the anchors, reporters, and meteorologists, the voices of our newsroom, every Thursday at 11:30 right here on KCTV5+. And today we are joined by Mark Paulos. Hey there, Mark. How's it going?
Hey, Janae. I'm doing great. How are you? Good to be here. Good to be sitting on this side of the desk for once.
Oh, Mark, I'm so happy to have your energy. This is our very first time doing the live desk together, so I'm excited about this because I mean, you're not new to the live desk area. You've done it here with sports.
Yeah, certainly. We're usually, giving our opinions about the Royals, Chiefs, whatever else is going on. But today I'm excited to maybe talk about some other things going on.
Yeah, today we are focusing solely on you. So I do want to start from the beginning. Where are you from, Mark, for our viewers who don't know?
Do you want to start at the beginning?
Beginning.
All right, beginning. This is how Kansas City I am. I was born in Shawnee Mission Hospital right there off I-35 in, 67th, 75th Street, right in there. So born there, grew up in Shawnee, Kansas, first kind of in central Shawnee, then out western Shawnee, more about the Mill Valley area. But I went to high school here at Bishop Miege, about maybe a mile or less from the station. So I used to drive by KCTV5 every single day on my way to school. And every time I would drive by, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I think I might want to do that one day. And then here we are all these years later.
That is just a full circle moment. And you're not the only one, because I sat down with Warren just a few weeks ago, meteorologist Warren Sears, and he was saying the same exact thing, that being here inside of KCTV5 and working and delivering the forecast to our viewers is just a full circle moment. So tell us a little bit more about your journey leading up to KCTV5. Where were you before? Where did you go to college? And then what stations did you go to?
So I went to college at the University of Miami down in South Florida, so I am a hurricane. It's always kind of my dream to go there and go down to college in South Florida. And then I remember I visited and I was like, how could anyone ever leave here? And then eventually I ended up leaving too. But I went there 4 years, studied journalism, got a degree in journalism, and also I had a second major in philosophy, so we're doing a lot of thinking down there. Then after that, I worked for about 2.5 years as a sports producer at WSVN in Miami. And when I was there, I was learning from a guy, one of the best in the industry. He actually got a lifetime contract down there from that station because he was just kind of a local icon there in that city. And I really learned a lot of things down there because we had guys that worked at ESPN. We had guys that used to work at the Golf Channel, and they kind of showed me how they would, cut highlights, write scripts, do things like that. And then also each weekend there, we would have a half-hour sports show, and on that show, we had like NFL super agent Drew Rosenhaus there each week. So I kind of learned a lot about how to maybe, how to have sources, how to kind of develop these things at the highest level. And then after that, I went from Miami to about the furthest place away you could go climate-wise. I went up to Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
So I went from where it was like 100 degrees, 90 degrees, sunny every day, to where it was maybe one day a year it got above 95 degrees in Minnesota. It was very, very cold. But I was there for about 6-7 years, and I mean, we covered everything you can imagine up there. I mean, we were talking about like the main sports, basketball, baseball, football, but we cover hockey, we would cover racing, we would cover all sorts, ice fishing, all sorts of things, skiing, cross-country skiing, wrestling, all sorts of things.
Variety.
Yeah, so I mean, we worked there for 6-7 years, but there we covered the Vikings, covered the Twins, covered the Timberwolves, a whole bunch of cool things up there. And then in December of 2022, I got the call up here to the big leagues from Minnesota back to my hometown in Kansas City, and I've been here ever since.
And what was that moment like to get that phone call knowing that you could be going back home?
Well, it was actually kind of funny because the day that I got a job offer to come here was actually, this is no joke, it was on my 30th birthday. And it's like when you're on your 30th birthday, you're kind of looking around, you're assessing your life because you're like, okay, I'm hitting the big 3-0, kind of what's going on here. I've been in this industry for about 8 years now, like right after college. Like, when am I going to get to go to where I want to go? When am I going to get to call up to go to a place I've always wanted to work? And then on my 30th birthday, our previous news director gave me a call and offered me a job. And I was like, well, I think this is kind of a sign, because I was in conversations with a couple other places. Like some in Florida, some here, some everywhere, and but it was like I was on my birthday, like at the station I used to drive by on my way to high school. I was like, I think this is it.
It was meant to be, right?
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, and so you've been here, you said, for 2.5 years, almost 3 years come December. And, Mark, a lot of people may not know this, but you started off in news when you first got here.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were in that pod together behind us and a few other reporters, news reporters.
Marlia was also in that pod at one point.
Yes, Marlia Campbell, who is the sports director here. She started off in news as well. And now you are in sports. Just talk about the excitement with that, starting off with news and then going back to what you truly love, which is sports.
Well, here in news, I was really it was very grateful to learn a lot about Kansas City in a way that I had never learned about it before. Because you just I was seeing it maybe from a sports angle, and then now I was going to places of Kansas City I had never been before, interacting with people I never thought I would interact with. So I really got a different appreciation and understanding of this city, because there weren't, being a sports reporter, you're not going to go to 37th and Prospect very often. And I'd have to go to certain parts of our town, and not just bad, but good parts also, but it's just a part where sports wouldn't hit that community. I learned so much about it. But then also here in Kansas City, so much of our news is sports related, like we've seen here with the stadium discussion. We've seen with the World Cup coming here a couple of years ago, the NFL draft came here. So I was very lucky that here in Kansas City, the intersection of sports and news, they intersect a lot, is really what I should say.
Yeah.
But then the opportunity to get back into sports, and it happened right before we went to the Super Bowl. Like one of my first assignments
I thought you were going to say right before my 31st birthday.
No, it's actually right after my 32nd birthday. It's right after my 32nd birthday. A little bit of a late birthday present, we'll say that. But no, I was talking to our current news director, Josh, and one of my first assignments was hey, you're going to go down to New Orleans for the Super Bowl.
Hello from New Orleans, where the living is easy and this city is ready to party, but Chiefs fans don't have to worry about a bad reception, because this city is ready to welcome them with open arms.
That was a pretty fun deal to go down there. And then one of the guys that I worked with a lot down there was obviously Neil Jones, who we've seen there in some of those pictures. And it was honestly kind of like a larger than life experience for me to be down there working with Neil, because I used to watch Neil on TV growing up, and I used to listen to Neil on the radio on my way driving into school. And the other day, my little brother, he doesn't really care anything about sports, but he was he made a reference to one of Neil's old radio shows, that because my brother, when we drive to school, my brother would listen to it in the car also. And I was like, my brother's name is Alex. I was like, Alex, what's crazy is I work with that guy that you're talking about now. He's like, are you serious? There he is, the great Neil Jones. That's what I love to call him, the great Neil Jones, because he really is that for me. I mean, he's been working here for almost 30, maybe even more than 30 years. He's been working here longer than a lot of the newsroom has been alive. I mean, look at him right there in New Orleans. He's right there. That was right after we got off the plane. He was ready to go. We're literally. How far does it look like we're outside of the airport there? 100 yards? And he already
is
he's
ready
camera ready. He's ready to start shooting. That's Neil Jones. He's a legend. I love that guy.
He is definitely a legend. I do want to circle back to your work life and everything that you have accomplished so far here, Mark. But I do want to also focus on your personal life, because I know you just got married not too long ago. Tell us a little bit more about your wife.
Yeah, we've been married for a little more than a year now. We celebrated our 1-year anniversary there in April. There we are actually at the Royals game. That was last summer. She actually surprised me with tickets, and we sat in the third or fourth row. It was unbelievable. We saw Bobby Witt Jr. hit I don't think it was a homer, but he had a big double. He had a good game. The Royals won, so that's really cool. But my wife and I, we actually met in this business. My wife is from Fort Worth, Texas, but we met up in Minnesota. At the time, I was the weekend sports anchor, and she was the weekend news anchor. Aww. So we were spending a lot of time together, and I was kind of developing a crush on her. But I was like, we're in the workplace. I was like, I can't. This is a step I cannot take. And then lo and behold, it was my wife that made the first move. And then all these years later, we got married, and we're still together. So
and then you guys ended up here in KC together. I love it so much. And the love story there, like I've touched on before with Voices of the Newsroom. So many people here in our newsroom have either just gotten married or they're recently engaged. So there's a lot of excitement here. So going back to sports and your profession, what would you say really made you fall in love with sports? You mentioned the fact that you watched people like Neil on KC TV5 for years when you were a child, but what really made you fall in love?
I really think it was just growing up here in Kansas City, because we'd be looking, you'd watch Neil, or you'd read the Kansas City Star, and the Kansas City Star growing up, it just had so many good writers, and you would just I mean, I would read that thing like cover to cover every single day, just the Sports Daily. I mean, it was such a good sports section. Like there'd be like Sam Mellinger, who now works for the Royals. Like he was a great columnist. They had Jason Whitlock, who was a great columnist for the Star. They had Joe Posnanski. All these guys. They also had tremendous beat writers. Adam Teicher, who just retired at ESPN, and Bob Dutton. That's a blast from the past there for the Kansas City Royals. And I mean, they really made you fall in love with these teams. And then here in Kansas City, I mean, you've seen it since you've been here, just how much this community, it revolves around sports.
Really
and then
does,
growing up the Chiefs and Royals, when I was growing up, they really weren't great. So here in Kansas City, what was really reigned supreme were college sports. Like we'd be talking about Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State. I like Kareem Rush at Missouri, or his brother Brandon Rush at Kansas, and or Darren Sproles from Olathe North to Kansas State. It was just the community aspect of sports here in Kansas City. Really drew me to it, and then also, like, again, saying that the Chiefs and Royals, they weren't very good. Because they weren't, but the people of Kansas City still loved them, and I think it's that community aspect. Like, when there's a Chiefs game, people want to get together, or when the Royals were really good, the way the community, just the energy that it felt. Or you see on Red Fridays and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, the city gets so excited. I remember when I first got here, and maybe you got the same. Well, you're from here, but a lot of people were saying if you don't wear red on Red Friday, like, they're going to come after you.
There's a price to pay.
So what is your favorite sport to cover? I know obviously you have a lot that you are covering year round, but what do you truly enjoy and look forward to every single time?
Well, I think the easy answer here is football, because everyone likes to go with football. But I'm actually going to go maybe one step further, and it's a part that I really fell in love with when I first worked in Miami, because there's so many good players at this age. But high school football, there really is nothing like when you go out to these events on Friday nights. Like, so much of it is like you're there with almost so much of that community. Like anywhere here in town, like you go to Lee Summit North on a Friday night, sight to behold. You go to Bishop Miege right down the street from here on a Friday night. You see families, you see mothers, fathers, grandfathers, children, nieces, nephews, all here for these games, and there really is nothing like Friday nights. And then obviously for us, media-wise, there's an adrenaline rush, because the games all start at 7 o'clock. We get on at about 10:15, and you got to edit maybe 8, 9, 10 games and get it all on. So you kind of.
It's a busy night.
It's a busy night. It's a game night. It's a lot of fun. But I mean, football, because it just is once a week. Like, we have such a build up to it. I mean, you see how we are with these NFL days, or like when we have, like, you'll lead into Chiefs press conferences all the time. Like, just because it's like we do so much work building up to these games, and then I mean, football is just such a show. Like when you're out there with it's such a production that one day a week. So I had to go with football.
Yeah, and when you talk about high school football, you talk about passion. I mean, the kids out there who are really doing it because they have a love for it, and then also they just enjoy the press. They enjoy, like, getting that attention, that spotlight. So I know you guys are truly appreciated. So beyond high school football, what are some stories that you were really proud of during your time here at KCTV5?
Well, I got to sneak in one more thing about high school football.
Go for it.
I just remember another reason why I love it so much. And it really is the high school bands. Because you go out there, and I mean, what other sporting event do we go to? Like, maybe a couple basketball games, but you go to in the, like the 100 best musicians in that school district are all playing, like, live music, like marching song, like at these events. It's so much fun. But sorry, now I forgot your other question.
No, so what other story? No, that's good. The bands are always good, right?
I love it.
But then also, what other stories have you enjoyed? Like, what have you been most proud of? I know you've reported on a lot of different stories, spoke to a lot of different people, but what have you loved the most?
Well, I guess there's a couple stories that really stand out. And the first one was, it happened last summer, right about this time, maybe about 11 months ago. There was a group of kids out in Kansas City, Kansas, and they're just neighborhood kids. They do what neighborhood kids do. They run around the neighborhood, they play sports, they get outside, and they're all hanging out. So these kids, there's about 8, 9, 10 of them, all live in the street. Probably about maybe second grade to middle school. So they're not all exactly the same age, but they were playing wiffle ball in their backyard.
We were just playing, and then this truck stopped. He was just like, "Hello, can I play with you guys?" And then I was like, we were just all standing there like, "Who is that?" And then we were just standing there. And then he was like, we were like, "That's Salvi."
And then so they just had Sal Perez play a little wiffle ball with them. And then actually a really cool aspect of that story, because I think it happened like that night, and then the very next day the Royals had a game. We found out about that story. We go out to the kid's house. The mom invites us out. We're interviewing the kids, interviewing the mom. And a friend of Salvador Perez, which is why he was in that neighborhood, like, shows up to the game. Like, this is completely unannounced, completely unplanned, has a signed baseball bat, and I believe, like, tickets to a game or something. And he's FaceTiming with Sal Perez, and, like, the kids got to see it.
On the field, crazy, because I never imagined getting to do this.
It's amazing. It's a different feeling. I've never been on here before, and I hope to be here one day when I grow up.
that is probably the favorite story I've ever done in my entire
Yeah.
career, because it was so much about like the personal aspect of it. Is like like everyone in the world can relate to playing with the neighborhood kids out in the
Right.
front yard, whether you're playing tag, you're playing whatever. These kids are playing
Yeah.
wiffle ball.
I mean, that is something they will never forget.
Yeah,
Mark.
and then like a Kansas City icon, like a guy
Yeah.
who like in the Mount Rushmore of Kansas City sports, like for sure has one of those spots.
Yeah.
Just like shows up at your game and wants to play with you.
Just unbelievable.
And then like when we talked to Sal about it, like just so they always, there's a phrase like don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Sal Perez is a guy that's a hero you should meet, because he was like, he didn't say anything about him. He's like, I think God put me in the right place to make those kids happy.
I don't know what this fan or what this kid do to get a ticket, to come in to see you. So to have that kind of opportunity to play with them, it's not gonna happen very often. So, I think God put me in the right spot just to make this kid happy.
Sal Perez is the real deal. Like,
Yeah.
I cannot say enough good things about
He
him.
just seems like a humble guy, just down to earth and
Hard
genuine.
worker.
Yeah.
He's just the best. He's the best. And that was another instance of it, and that was really cool.
Oh, I love it. And you have some other stories that you have enjoyed. You're really, really proud of.
So there's a 12-year-old girl from Missouri who is a bowler.
Okay.
And I actually, when I wrote the story, I said some bowlers go their entire career without ever bowling a 300 game. I should change that to most, because this is a 12-year-old girl who rolled a 300 game, is the youngest female to ever do that in Missouri history.
That is insane.
And so I was talking to her about this, because like I guess to throw 300, I was asking her and her grandpa, who's also a very accomplished bowler, like, what do you have to do? And he's like, you have to throw 12 strikes in a row.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, okay, like that's quite the task at hand. But
I think I'm good at bowling, but that is like a whole nother level.
Oh, I know.
I have to get one strike.
The 12 strike. So I was talking, like when you get to that 10th frame and
Yeah.
you're bowling, like the pressure is on.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed, like a 12-year-old could, like, it was in competition, it wasn't in practice, it was in a tournament where she's bowling with her dad.
Yeah.
And like 10th frame, strike. Next bowl, I still in the 10th frame, strike.
Yeah.
Next roll. I mean, all the pressure in the world on her. There's an entire bowling alley looking at her, and she's 12 years old. What does she do? Throws a strike. And it was just like, it was just so cool to see her story, and then hear her family, how they kind of got into bowling. But it's cool to see like some of these athletes at such young ages kind of show their potential, because the kids that do things like that at that age, those are the kids that kind of go on to do things special, because they're doing it. Like they're accomplishing the task, and just at 12 years old to do something no one had done in state history.
This is only the beginning for her, right? So
oh yeah.
I mean,
she's not even in high school. She's like a middle schooler somewhere in the Liberty School District.
Well, 12 years old, yeah. And that's what I was going to touch on. You talk about her age. I love how all of your favorite stories, or most of them, the two you just mentioned, revolve around young kids and making history, or like having a moment that they may never even get again, but just at such a young age, like those young kids that were playing wiffle ball, and then they get the surprise of a lifetime. Just, it's amazing, Mark.
Yeah, no, those definitely are my favorite stories to tell.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons they are is just because they are so rare. Like
Right. Yeah.
But with Sal Perez doing things like that, like the guys that we have in our community, like Bobby Witt, all these other guys, it's cool to see how they impact just day-to-day life for all sports fans.
Yeah, good guys there, no, for sure. Okay, Mark, before we let you go, a few questions that I always ask people. Your quote that you live by. What is something that has just stayed with you, maybe throughout your life, throughout your career, that you live by every single day?
All right, I'm going to hit you actually with some coach speak right here, because I had a coach say this to me once, and I literally think about everything in this way. How you do anything is how you do everything, and it lines up. So say like maybe you have a task at hand that you have to accomplish, and you're kind of slacking off on that. Well, you probably slack off on other things that you do in your day-to-day life. So it's like the whole, I guess, mentality behind it is you have to attack everything and give it your 100%. Because if you don't give 100%, say you give 90%, maybe the next time you're going to give 85%. Like how you do anything is how you do everything. And then also another coach speak, no deposit, no return, just kind of like you got to put in the work to be able to take something out. Like every single time, whatever, no deposit, no return, and how you do anything is how you do everything.
Mark, I feel like we just went to therapy. That was really, really good. No, that's good motivation.
Well, I feel like I'm giving you 3 quotes here, and I also love this one, the golden rule, treat other people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Like that's so big. I mean, I think there's a phrase I've often think about, like the true you can really judge the character of a man by how he treats someone who can do nothing for him.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to treat people the right way. I believe it all comes back. You treat people like trash, the world's going to treat you like trash. So just go out there and just be a good person.
Oh, I love it, Mark. And for our viewers who don't know, and if you can't already tell, Mark is just such a light here in the newsroom. He is so sweet, so nice. And that's
we
why
try,
I was
but
so
you're really
excited.
gassing me up here.
That's why I was so excited to sit down and talk to you, because you are so genuine and you're so sweet. So this was a really good conversation. My final question for you, Mark, is we talk about the fact that you used to drive past, or ride, because you weren't driving at the time, past KCTV5, and you used to watch people like Neil Jones on your television growing up. What would you tell that young boy right now watching the television? What would you tell him in this moment, especially considering where you are today?
Young Mark?
Young Mark.
Oh my gosh. I think I would just tell young Mark to just keep with it. You know, there's so much, Janae, you know about this in this industry. It's so competitive. It's so hard to, to get to where you want to go. You know, there's a million people that want to cover sports here in Kansas City. There's a million people that probably grew up here in Kansas City and say they want to cover sports. But you just got to keep showing up. You got to keep putting in the work. Because another mantra I believe in, 90% of life is showing up. Just show up, do the work, and let the chips fall where they may. And as long as you do your best, you're going to get to where you need to be.
Oh, Mark, I love it. Thank you so much for joining me here at the live desk for this week's edition of Voices of the Newsroom. And we want to thank our viewers for joining us as well. Voices of the Newsroom, this is where we get to shine a light on the talent here at KCTV5. You can tune in every other Thursday at 11:30 right here on KCTV5 Plus. We'll meet you right back here on August 7th.